If you spent any time in Dubai, you already know this city has a serious love affair with gold. You see it everywhere, from entire shop windows stacked with bangles and necklaces in the gold souk, to massive gold bars advertised in airports, to social media posts of people proudly showing off their latest purchase. And it's for good reason. Gold has always been seen as a symbol of wealth, security, stability, and hedging against uncertainty. But let's be honest, just because gold has been around for thousands of years doesn't mean it's automatically the best place to park your money in 2025. Prices have been swinging widely, there are more ways to buy than ever, and there are also a lot of hidden costs that most people don't think about until it's too late. So today I want to give you a clear, honest look at whether investing in gold in Dubai actually makes sense. We're going to talk about everything: buying jewelry, bullion, ETFs, even digital gold. And by the end of this video, you'll have a real sense of the pros, the cons, and whether it's fit into your financial game plan. But before we jump in, take a second to hit that like button if you appreciate content that doesn't sugarcoat. And if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, because I put out new videos every single week on investing, personal finance, and how to make smart money moves right here in the UAE. And by the way, if you're thinking about trying out stocks or ETFs here, check out the first link in the description to download the Amana app. It's honestly what I've been using to build my UAE portfolio because it's so much simpler than traditional brokers. And of course, for you all, here's a bonus. If you use my referral code Hamid, you'll get a $100 trading bonus when you deposit your first $100 and make your first trade. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, I think a lot of people are drawn to gold because it feels safe and sounds safe. Unlike stocks or property, gold is something you can actually hold in your hand. And that psychological comfort is powerful, especially in uncertain times like now. When inflation is high, currencies are unpredictable, and geopolitical tensions are constantly in the headlines. Gold has this reputation as the one asset that doesn't rely on any government or financial system to survive. But here's the thing, the way you buy gold matters a lot more than most people think. So let's start with the most common approach: jewelry. A lot of expats, especially if you're from South Asia or the Middle East, naturally gravitate to gold jewelry. It feels familiar and it's a cultural tradition. In Dubai, it's also easy. Walk into the gold souk or any mall, pick something you like, and you're done. But here's the catch. When you buy jewelry, you're not only paying for the gold itself, you're also paying making charges, design fees, and a retailer markup. Most people don't realize those making charges can be anywhere from 5 to 20% of the total cost. So if you're buying a necklace for say 15,000 dirhams, a significant chunk of that price disappears the minute you walk out of the shop. If you turned around and tried to sell it, you might be shocked to learn you're only getting back maybe 12,000 dirhams in comparison to the 15,000 dirhams, sometimes even less. That's why jewelry is better thought of as something to wear and enjoy rather than a pure investment vehicle. Sure, it holds value better than fast fashion or electronics, but it's definitely not the most efficient way to gain exposure to actual gold prices. Now, let's say you're serious about owning gold purely as an investment and a hedge. That's where bullion and coins come in. In Dubai, you have plenty of options. You can go to places like Emirates Gold, Etihad Gold, or even visit a bank branch that sells minted bars. Bullion comes in various sizes, from tiny 1-gram wafers up to massive 1-kilo bricks. The benefit here is you're buying as close to the spot price as possible. You still pay a small premium for minting and dealer costs, but it's nothing like the markup on actual jewelry. If you're thinking about buying bullion, most advisors recommend going with recognized brands because when it comes to resale, you want certificates and packaging intact. That makes the process faster and ensures you get the best possible price. But let's talk about something people almost never consider: the storage of all this. Physical gold is easy to buy, but you have to figure out where to keep it. If you keep it at home, you're taking on obvious risks: robbery, loss, or even damage. So you'll probably want a good quality safe, and depending on how much you're storing, you may also need specialized insurance. That all in all costs money. The other option is to keep it in a secure vault or a safety deposit box somewhere else, like a bank. Banks like Emirates NBD and ADIB offer vault services, and there are private vault companies as well. But those come with annual fees. It might be a few hundred dirhams a year for a small box, or more if you're storing higher volumes. So over 10 or 20 years, that storage cost can add up to a sizable chunk of your initial investment and just eat up your investment anyway. The third way people get into gold now is ETFs, or exchange traded funds. And this is what I personally prefer for the bulk of my gold exposure. With an ETF, you're not taking delivery of any physical gold. You're just buying a share that tracks the gold price almost exactly. In the UAE, you can access gold ETFs through your broker or even apps like Amana, which I mentioned earlier. This approach has some real advantages. For one, you don't have to think about logistics, insurance, and storage. You can buy in small amounts, even a few hundred dirhams at a time, which makes it accessible for beginners just like yourself. And when you decide to sell, it's literally instant. You don't have to find a buyer or drive to the gold souk to negotiate with another person. But obviously there are downsides as well. ETFs charge an annual management fee or overnight fees, and they have their own associated costs, usually around 0.5%. That fee is automatically deducted over time, which slightly drags on your returns. You also don't get the same emotional satisfaction of knowing you physically own your gold and can hold it in your hands. For some people, that feeling is part of the appeal. I also want to mention digital gold platforms, which have become more popular in the last couple of years. Companies like DMCC and some fintech apps let you buy fractional ownership of gold that's stored in professional vaults. So you're technically buying real gold, but you never actually hold it. You have an electronic certificate and an electronic copy of that gold in some sorts, and the option to redeem for physical gold if you want to later. This can be a nice middle ground between ETFs and actual physical gold. You still get exposure to spot prices, but you avoid the headaches of storage. The catch again is fees, obviously. Always check the fine print. Some platforms charge annual custody fees, withdrawal fees, or premiums when you cash out. So where does this leave us? Is gold worth it right now or not? In my view, gold is a smart way to diversify, but it's not a replacement for other investments. It just should be a part of your portfolio. Gold has no yield. It doesn't pay you dividends like stocks or rental income like property. It just sits there and appreciates small percentages over a year. Over the very long term, equities have outperformed gold significantly in terms of returns. But gold does something most other assets can't. It acts as a hedge. When inflation spikes, gold usually holds its value. When currencies weaken or geopolitical tensions rise, gold often goes up as investors look for something safe. And considering the way the world looks right now with high inflation, interest rate uncertainty, regional conflicts, it makes sense to have at least some exposure into gold. I personally keep about 5% of my money in gold, mainly through ETFs on apps like Trading 212 or Amana. That feels like the right balance for me. Enough to give me peace of mind against uncertainty, but not so much that I'm missing out on growth elsewhere. If you decide to invest in gold, I would recommend taking your time and learning everything. Don't feel pressured by dealers telling you prices are about to explode. Check the live spot price on your phone before you walk in, compare offers from different sellers, and be crystal clear about the premiums you're paying in order to acquire that gold. And remember, storage isn't just an afterthought. If you buy physical gold, have a plan for where it's going to live. If you go digital or ETF route, understand the costs as well. At the end of the day, gold is not a magic solution, but used correctly, it can be a really effective piece of a diversified portfolio, especially when the world feels a little uncertain. So with that being said, if you found this video helpful, do me a quick favor and hit that like button so more people can see it. Subscribe to the channel if you want more practical guides on investing and personal finance here in Dubai. And if you're curious about building your UAE platform, definitely check out the link to download the Amana app. Don't forget to use my code Hamid to get your $100 trading bonus when you make your first deposit of $100 and start trading. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay smart, stay sharp, and stay diversified, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.